Wrestling fans, promoters, wrestlers, and anyone who enjoys pro wrestling now have something new to be excited about. The Wrestling Fans International Association, the WFIA, is back. WFIA is an association that exists to promote, grow, and support professional wrestling throughout the world. Membership is free. Your membership includes a free digital bi-monthly publication of the Wrestling Fan News newsletter, association updates, voting privileges, and much more. Please go to thewfia.org, that's THEWFIA.org, and become a member today.
Welcome, everybody, to the Pro Wrestle Zone. I want to welcome somebody I've been looking forward to speaking to for a while. Jack Victory, how are you?
I'm doing very good, sir. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining the show today, and I'd like to go over some of your career and
Sure.
talk about anything you want, really.
I started wrestling very right out of high school, running the circuit in New Jersey and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, that's close. Yeah.
Yeah, that's close. I'm born and raised in New Jersey, self-taught. Never went to a wrestling school. Started with DC Drake and Eddie Miranda and Ted Petty in Easton, Pennsylvania area.
Okay.
And being around those three guys, you pretty much learned the business pretty well. So it was pretty cool.
So speaking of that, did you work in the NWF with DC Drake? Going down there, I know he worked for, he ran another group. I think CWA before
No,
that.
that was after I left.
Okay.
That I only stayed there for a couple months, and then I got the job with Watts. So
Okay.
yeah,
I was going to ask you about that. What was your initial impression of Bill Watts?
hard ass. Everything that everybody's ever told you is true, and probably tenfolds. It's he was a hard ass, but God bless him. He gave me my first break, and if you don't know how to learn to wrestle at Mid-South, you ain't gonna wrestle. Trust me. Yeah.
There's some wild and crazy times there. I mean, you spent time working for him in the UWF as well, and
Yes. Yeah.
and that was when they were probably one of the wilder groups of the time. I think probably.
Yeah, it probably was the first. The early stages of the Attitude Era. I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
Everybody calls it.
Yeah, that or like the hardcore wrestling, whatever, kind of thing. They did a little bit. It was just every week they had a cliffhanger ending, basically, in a
Right.
way. It was
Oh,
pretty.
yeah.
It was pretty wild. Do you have any? Now, did you work with Shawn Michaels at all down there?
Oh man, we started around the same time, and we basically wrestled together for a whole year when we first broke in.
Did you have any? How was he different? How was he at that time?
He was a young kid.
He was
a young kid when I was wrestling him. We were still in the learning stages of our careers, and he was good back then. Excellent back then, and he just got better and better and better.
Yeah, I was watching some old World Class recently, and it's funny to see him as a young guy in there. Just regular trunks and just
That's
looking
right.
so.
Young little kid. Yeah. San Antonio boy. I remember the first time we wrestled in the Superdome. That was Bill Watts' big show every year, and I wrestled him, and his dad came, and my dad came, and it was like, we made it. It was a pretty good show, pretty cool show with Watts.
Cool. When did you go over to World Class from there?
Well, I was with Watts for a while, met a girl from Oklahoma, fell in love, asked her to marry me, told Bill, can I have a week off to get married? Sure, kid, go ahead. Went to the Bahamas, got married, came back, and he fired me. He goes, "You're fired." He goes, "But I got you started in World Class." So he called the phone, and that's when I went to World Class. So he fired me and gave me a job too.
No, I think that was the first time I saw you was in World Class growing up. I used to
I
watch it.
guess it was like what, probably 85, 86, something around there. I think.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just and you were paired up with Tatum for a while there, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Johnny came later. Johnny
Yeah.
came later with when I went back to Watts in
When,
the UWF.
okay.
That's when we that's when we first initially came. Ken Mantell was the booker.
Yep.
Um, he brought him in, and he says, "Oh, I got a great gimmick for you." And man, it was fun. It was fun with Johnny.
Yeah. What about Chris Adams? Working with Chris Adams at that time period?
I really never worked with him.
Yeah.
Got to hang out with him, of course, and stuff like that, but we never wrestled each other.
Okay. What was it? How was he back then as compared to like maybe later on? I know that I've heard like stories about later on, like post like I guess his wrestling career that he was a little I don't know, kind of crazy a little bit.
I don't.
I don't
I
want
don't.
without saying anything bad about him. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
I
say
was
yeah,
never around
yeah,
him when he was, crazy.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think that leading up to his passing, I guess you could say,
Right, right.
there was a lot of
Oh,
liquor
yeah,
involved and stuff.
it's easy to, in this business.
Yeah, yeah. Um, when you were there, Lance Von Erich was there as well. What was it like working with or not working with, but what was your impression of him? Him, the whole thing, him coming in,
I
being
don't. It was so tough to have a
to follow
fake Von
through.
Erich. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like, Jesus, who is this kid?
yeah,
Decent worker.
yeah. I thought so.
Never had a
Yeah,
problem with working with him or anything like that. But
yeah. Did you read his book at all, or did you know about the book?
no, I haven't. Somebody asked me the other day if I can get a hold of him, and is he still in Texas? Do you know? Does
Mm,
anybody know where he's at?
I'm friends with the author. I'm trying to remember where he told me he's located now. I can't remember actually offhand,
If
but
you
I've
can
read
track
the
him
book.
down, you can. Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll let me know later.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
have.
He
I
is
have.
on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What's
He
that?
is on social. He is on Facebook, but he doesn't really respond to like messages or anything like that. But I know Vinny Barry that wrote the book is he I guess he does keep in contact with him. So he
Okay.
I've tried to reach out to him, and then I've actually tried to go through him to get him as to come on here, and I guess he does not like to be in the public, I guess, as compared to
Maybe, well,
you know
you might have just answered my
yeah.
question, because these people want to, bring him in for an autograph session and all that. So if he's not doing that, then I don't even waste my time.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing if he did. You know what I mean? Because I think that
Yeah.
one of the stories is about him in the book. It was he didn't think that his book would sell at all, or anybody would be interested in his story. But I thought it was a great book, and I thought his story was really good. And I thought he was a very underrated wrestler. It took him a little while to catch on a little bit, but I thought he was
Right.
really good
Right.
after a while. Yeah,
Yeah. No, very good worker. I mean, great attitude, great kid. Never had any issues with him at all.
yeah, yeah. So when did you go over to I guess Crockett in the WCW?
I
Was
was
that
I was
probably
in world class.
yep,
Me and oh God, it was I forget what year it was, but Dusty called me, and he
88,
goes,
89 around there?
yeah, around there, and
Yeah.
he goes, kid, I'm looking for a Russian assassin #2. You interested? I said, Dusty, hell yeah, I'm interested. And he brought me in as, Angel of Death's tag team partner with the Russian assassins. So it was pretty cool.
I don't remember him in there, the Angel of Death, unless I'm
You
missing
don't you don't
something.
remember the Angel of Death?
No, I remember him, but I don't remember him coming into WCW at all.
Yeah,
Or
he was the Russian assassin #1.
got you. Okay, okay. No,
Yeah,
I do remember him. I guess he died at a young age as well.
yeah, he
Correct.
did. He did.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep, yep.
I
He
remember him in World Class and in UWF. So yeah, that's right. It's all right. I've had louder dogs in the in the background before, and my kids. So
little
it's cool.
spoiled ass.
So what was it like being paired up with the sheep herders?
Well, that was my first break of coming out from the first, second, third matches, to being thrown into main event status with them crazy asses. It was fun. It was fun. We Bill said, "Oh, we're gonna do a barbed wire cage match," and people have told me that it was the first barbed wire cage match on television, which I still don't know if it was true or false. But Bill was so cheap. It wasn't an actual steel cage. It was made out of 2x4s and barbed wire. Have you ever seen it? I think it's on YouTube.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
It's the cheapest looking ass steel cage you'll ever see in your life, because Bill was a cheap ass. And but we brought that match everywhere and sold out everywhere around the Mid-South, and bloody every night. I mean, the barbed wire, not fun.
Yeah. What do you think about the Sheepherders when they left the NWA and went over to WWF and doing a complete 180 as far as their gimmick goes?
I never thought it would get over as a babyface gimmick, but it sure did, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, Vince sees things that people go, "Oh, it'll never work," and it worked.
Yeah. I mean, they were still. I mean, they're pretty old by then. I mean, older, I guess, and it
yeah. I mean, Luke is still going. He's still working.
I find that crazy. He's working. Where did he work recently?
Yeah, he did a match. He did a tag match the other day or something with somebody.
Yeah, I think he did some work with Tommy Fierro not so long ago up in New Jersey. So yeah,
he's asked me to work with him, and I finally said yes. So that we might be having a match, me and him against somebody in the future. So
yeah,
that could be fun.
Is there any kind of destination for that, like where that might take place, or
it might be Bobby Fulton's place in September up there at his what a place that is.
Yeah, it's his kid, right? That runs it.
Yeah, Bobby and his kids run it, and I was there in the last show. Didn't wrestle, just did signings up there, and they had probably 5,000 people at the show.
I've seen pictures of it, and I find that amazing for an independent that they're bringing in.
It's still called the Ohio, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
Yeah, I find that crazy. It's awesome though. It really is.
No,
awesome.
It's great. Yeah, good atmosphere.
Yeah. So you wrestled in a heel versus heel match against Kamala in the TV title tournament for the UWF. What was it like working with Mr. James Harris?
He's a trip. We used to do road trips together. He didn't really drive, so I was driving most of the time. And what a great guy! I mean, what a gimmick! I said, what a gimmick! Just to slap your belly and roll around a little bit, no high flying, no nothing. So good guy.
He was a lot of fun to watch. You got to witness him everywhere, basically during that 1980s run that he had. Between World Class, WWF, UWF, etc.
Right. Yeah. No, I think drew a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question. The Savoldis come up quite a bit on this podcast.
Never got to work with them. Never got to work with them.
That I'm really surprised about, because they brought a lot of
talent up there. They had some really good shows up there.
But didn't you get a chance to work with Joe Savoldi?
No.
And no, you didn't. I remember him being in there. I thought you were able to work with him at that point.
If I did, it was probably I don't think so.
No. Okay. All right.
I have had a lot of concussions though, so don't.
you had a long career though.
And go, you don't remember? I mean, Jesus.
He has nothing to do with the business like these days. I've tried to get him a couple times, and I've had his brother Mario on, and Joe just wants nothing to do with it anymore, which I find shocking. But considering the age of nostalgia, like everybody's just going crazy for a lot of the old rare guests and stuff like that, especially at signings. So let's see where we got what else we got here. How did you being paired up with Hot Stuff International?
Yeah, I mean, Missy caused all that, that was a shoot breakup with Johnny, and went over to Eddie, and it was crazy. Crazy
Yeah.
times.
It's funny when you guys were all like grouped together. It was like one of my. It seemed like it was like my favorite faction because I loved every single
Yeah, it was
person
like
that
the
was
Addams
involved in
family,
that.
wasn't it? It was everybody had a different look. I mean, the Steiners and Sting and Eddie,
Yeah,
and it was just crazy. It was like a freak show.
yeah. So is that what led to you and Tatum being paired up, or
No, that was
how
way before. Yeah,
that was way before?
we got together way before. Was with the Missy, and then the Missy and Johnny breakup, and it was, yeah, it was crazy, crazy times.
So you were working World Class when Mike Von Erich passed away, correct? Were you at that point?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see when. Do you remember like when his disappearance came about?
I don't really remember too much
Yeah,
about it. Um, yeah, just I was there when uh, Chavo disappeared. I mean, it was just crazy times. A lot of, I mean, not Chavo. What's Chris Adams' tag team partner? Gino. I was
Gino.
there when
Yeah,
Gino passed
yep,
away too. You know, and
yeah,
it's never fun when things like that go down when you're in
yeah.
a territory. You know.
I interviewed. Do you remember Mike Williams at all?
Yeah.
That worked there. Where yeah, I
Yeah.
interviewed him a while ago, and that was he was his final opponent, and it's just it was really good to talk to him, but it's just it's kind of crazy to learn the history of that, how that came about.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
It's some wild times back there. I mean, I try to tell people stories about, things that people have done and things that they do and how a lot of people are still alive. It's crazy, you
I
know.
know it seems like some of the people that abuse themselves the worst are still around. It seems, you know what I mean. And then some of the guys that were not necessarily
that
as
that were
involved.
that weren't the big druggies or anything
Yeah,
like that. They kick out when they're way too young.
yeah. What about going to Wild West Wrestling?
That was
It's short, very
Mid
short
South.
lived.
Yeah, Mid
Yeah,
South was starting to not Mid South. World Class was starting to fold a little bit.
yeah. Still had a couple
Um,
years. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
Ken Mantell, which was a really good booker.
yeah.
Started that, and it was pretty fun. You know, it, just like any territory, you just need uh, the funding and all that stuff, which really dried up.
It looked as if they were running shows in a tiny bar.
It
It,
was what was
I
God.
forgot. I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, it was Fort Worth Stockyards. It
Yeah,
was the Country Bar. Pretty big place.
I'm gonna have to look it
Um,
up. Let's see if I can find it while we're.
it will come to me in a second.
I'm sure it'll take me a second to find it if I'm finding all the TV. But let's see. But that was one of those things, like a group that I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was
mm,
just it brought. It just seemed like it was kind of world class. I guess it was like a feud between Wild West and World Class, kind of.
right, right,
When,
right.
When Mantell left, and uh, well, it just seemed like everybody left World Class at that time to go there, and then I think that's what caused the rift between Lance and Fritz. So he ended up revealing that
Yeah,
he wasn't, the actual
sorry about that.
cousin, etc. Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah, so that I always enjoyed that as a group, though, watching it. I still go back and find the footage on YouTube and stuff. So there's always stuff that I haven't seen.
Yeah, YouTube is a good place to catch up on old wrestling.
I really don't watch a lot of modern stuff. I mean, I do to an extent, but there's not a lot of modern, stuff
Mm,
to that's interesting. So I don't know if you watch it all today. Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of painful.
it definitely
You,
is. Yeah,
being in the business, you can tell when somebody choreographs a match. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean? And I mean, the women are worse than the guys, unfortunately. But it just you could tell when they know something's coming and they're like ready to duck, and it just I don't watch it really that much
yeah.
anymore.
I watch the big shows. You know what I mean, from
Yeah,
WWE or whatever, and it's like I watched last night's Money in the Bank. I watched it this morning, and it was one of those things where you can definitely tell there was so many spots that were choreographed just to prevent heavy injury or
Right, right, right.
whatnot. And it's just like, I mean, first off, there's too many spots to begin with. Everything is like
Correct.
a high spot or choreographed. It's
Yeah,
kind of,
if
like you
we
said,
did
it's
that many
painful.
spots back there for Watts, we would have been fired. I mean, there was no question about it. We would be fired. So the first couple matches in Watts territory, you weren't even allowed to hit the ropes half the times. You know, it was
You gotta
crazy.
grapple
You got to
around.
grapple a little bit.
That's what it was like, because I was having that conversation. We were at an indie show last night, and we're talking about a guy that does a lot of high spots. Me and a pal of mine, he goes, and I said, "Yeah, I don't really care for his style that much." He goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "I like the old school grappling. That's what made me a wrestling fan." It's like, and I
There's
still
really no main
40 some
event
odd years.
anymore. You know, everybody is balls to the wall from
Yeah.
the opening to the end. There's no build up, no build up, no build up. It's just the main events sometimes go on second, and you know
Well,
there's
there's
no really no difference.
the thing with WWF is WWE, excuse me, it's like there's two titles. There's always two world titles, and there are two main titles. So it's like one is
Yeah.
always on first, and then the other is always on last. It's just like that, to me, is kind of aggravating in a way,
Right.
you know. Let's see here. I don't know what the no. Did you work with Phil Apollo at all, or work beside him at all?
I know Phil. Yeah.
Vince, yeah,
Yeah.
we just had him on. It was the first ever interview he's ever done. Uh,
Really?
yeah, he and I got to tell you, man, it was awesome to talk to him, and it was awesome that he actually chose us to be his first and supposedly only. I don't know how true that is,
Pretty
but
cool.
ever since that interview came out, there's a lot of promise. There's a lot of interest in having him, because people have contacted me looking for him and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not giving the information out then, without his permission, but he has
Right.
shown
Exactly.
a little
Yeah.
especially guys like looking for autograph signings and stuff. But Phil was awesome. So is there any memories working with him, like at that time period when he came
I
through
mean,
there for that,
just
what, 7 or 8 months or whatever?
yeah. I mean, just a great guy. I mean,
Yeah,
when we were way back in the day when matches were called in the ring,
yeah,
it's great to work with somebody with talent. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
you had to be talented, or you didn't last
yes,
back in the 80s. You know,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
so no, it was a blessing. Good guy.
yeah. And you were feuding over the belts with you and Tatum with the Fantastics and the Simpsons and stuff. So
Yep, two
yeah,
great tag teams. Yeah, more with the Fantastics.
yep,
We world class and UWF with the Fantastics. We wrestled them. Christ, a shitload.
yeah.
So it was yep.
So of course you went in. You were one of the Russian assassins, of course. In let's see, what else was I going to say? And you ended up teaming with Rip Morgan as well as the
Right.
New Zealand militia.
Yeah, after they broke up the Russian assassins,
Yep.
they kept me around. I did a little bit of singles. I mean, I must have had 37 gimmicks there. You know,
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I was always basically Jack Victory, but it was Jack Victory with some doing Secret Service, whatever it was. And, you know, I was just happy to keep, you know, my paychecks rolling in. So that was,
Yeah.
I never said no. But finally, Rip is actually Butch's from his nephew.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's how we got to get talking. And Rip was a great tag team partner. We had a blast with Lord Littlebrook as our manager, with the
Yep.
royal family and the New Zealand militia and stuff like that. So we did. It was fun.
Do you ever think that as a tag team that you guys would have gotten a push? Because I thought that I always thought that it should have happened, because I really enjoyed that as a tag team. You're just
They
kind of just there
they changed bookers so much.
so many times. Yeah.
So many times, and you would just, you know, Kevin Sullivan was there booking, and he started giving us, and he left, and you know, this and this, and it's all about the power of the pencil back then. You know, it was.
It always
We never
seemed,
really got a good push.
yeah. It always seemed like
middle of the card push, but nothing really above that.
it always seemed like WCW was kind of a mess at that time period.
Oh my God,
as far as like,
it was so crazy.
yeah,
When they sold it out and Herd came in and all that, it was just crazy.
yeah,
We're putting everybody on contracts. That part was okay.
yeah,
But Yeah, it was crazy.
You got guaranteed pay though, right? If with the
Yeah, it was,
contract.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
you can
So I
sit
mean,
home and get paid. Yeah, so that was nice.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's not
No,
bad.
no, it was, yeah, my back loved it.
Yeah. All right. So this is one that I'm really interested in. So Dennis Condrey walked out, I guess,
Okay.
during the time period. You ended up replacing him in a match for Chi-Town Rumble, I believe. Yeah, Chi-Town.
Chi-Town Heat, Chi-Town Rumbles. Yeah,
Yeah, one
Chicago.
of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And teaming with Randy Rose against the Midnight Express, Bobby and Stan. Do you know what led to that, or how you were chosen to be his replacement for that night?
I have no idea, but do you realize that I actually wrestled twice that night?
I
I
believe
was
you did.
actually the Russian assassin
Yes. Yep.
against Michael Hayes, and then they brought me back and wrestled in the tag. That was my biggest payoff ever.
Really?
Because they
Really?
paid me. Yeah, they paid me twice, so that was nice.
Wow. It's well, was that like a
How
last
they
minute
got,
change?
huh?
Was that a last minute change? Like all
I
of a
don't
sudden?
remember how it went down.
Yeah.
I know I was supposed to wrestle Michael, and
Yeah.
I don't know how I ended up in that tag match.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah. I remember Randy Rose sticking around for a little while after that, and then Dennis just disappearing. I guess like he just walked out of the company, which I
Yeah.
guess seemed somewhat regular from what I understand. Like if he wasn't happy, he would just leave. So
Well, he has his own companies, so
okay.
he doesn't need the business.
All
Randy's
right.
a very smart dude.
Yeah.
Owns a couple companies, and like I said, he doesn't need the business. I saw him a couple at one of the gatherings a couple years ago, and he looks great. Like I said, really don't need the business.
Yeah.
It was great seeing him. He was always a good dude. We always when we were in Atlanta, we always lived like 5 minutes from each other, so
Wow.
we hung out a lot. So
Yeah.
good dude.
Yeah. I have several of your WCW gimmicks listed here.
Okay.
So we're gonna go through them.
Okay, great.
The blackmailer.
Yeah, that was my least favorite.
Yeah. How long did that last? I only remember one time on.
They let's put it this way. They just brought the suit along.
Yeah.
And if they didn't want me to wrestle as Jack Victory, they'd throw me under the hood. That was basically it. I broke Dr. Death's nose in
was that at
Albany, New York.
Okay.
Albany, New York. It was a TV taping. I told him to duck, and he did not, and I laid it right across his face and broke his nose.
Wow.
So,
did he give you anything for that or no?
No, he loved it. He loved it. He was a tough dude. He didn't care.
Yeah. About you're also the terrorist. I'm trying to remember that one.
Yeah, that was not that lasted about a minute.
Yeah. And then the Super Destroyer, which I do remember that one, but I don't
that lasted a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, you were like the ultimate utility guy, I guess. Anytime that they could count on you.
Kept the checks coming in, you know what I mean? That's good.
There you go. Oh, my computer. Let's see. You also worked with Paul E, being managed by him shortly. How was Paul E?
Paul E, he actually came up with that Secret Service gimmick. And basically his bodyguard type, that type thing. And Paulie's wrestling mind is beyond, fantastic. I mean, he never treated me bad. He was a good guy. Still a good guy.
Yeah. He has been one of my favorites for many years. His creative mind, and it's a shame that he does not have his own company any longer. But I guess that it's given him his longevity for his career. I actually got to witness you in where was I? Was it Buffalo, New York, when you worked ECW? When you paired up with them. I'm trying to remember the pay-per-view. Was it November to Remember? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
I just remember it being fucking cold, basically, from my language. So, it was just, but we had a fun time. So back then we would drive a couple hours to go to pay-per-views or the you know, the ECW arena or something like that. I'm too old to be doing stuff like that these days. I don't have the tolerance to drive to shows like that anymore. So,
Hi, this is Bob Smith. You might remember me from my years at Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. Well, now I've started a brand new podcast called The Outdated Wrestling Hour. Yes, we're going to take a whimsical look back at the wrestling figures, stars, and trends from years gone by. We're talking 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and a whole lot more. There's going to be laughs, there's going to be fun, there's going to be action, you name it. Please tune in for The Outdated Wrestling Hour wherever you get your podcasts.
let's see. In 1990, you actually you made a full-time return, and you were in. Did you wrestle Masa Saito in the Great Muda for the Pat O'Connor Memorial Tag Team Tournament?
That was with Rip Morgan. That was right.
Yeah.
That was right. We left. I mean, Rip wanted to go home. He's a New Zealand guy. I mean, he was homesick, and he saw the writing on the wall that we weren't going to get a push to where he was going to be happy.
Yeah.
So he decided to go home, and basically I stepped out of the wrestling business for a couple of years myself, and got back in when I went to go see Paulie, and Tommy Dreamer, basically said, "Hey, do you want to come back?" And I said, "Oh yeah, what the hell."
We can talk about that, and then I'm going to go backwards and ask some more questions regarding to that era. But what was it like when you went to ECW? What was it like, and what was
it? Was really cool, man. It was like I was like a kid again, going, "Oh, this is fun." They actually brought wrestling back to fun. It was it was a trip.
Watching ECW was like while they had like a lot of crazy kind of extreme stuff, it was like watching wrestling when you were growing up or when I was growing up in the 1980s, like an old school kind of like Crockett or UWF type vibe. It was just very minimalistic, I guess you could say, and that's what I appreciated about professional wrestling. Not the big gigantic production. They did have loud music, but but they mixed a lot of different styles, and they were very innovative. You know what I mean? So, what was it like being you were teamed up with Carino at that time?
Well, that came late. That came about a year after with ECW. Me and Carino hit it off really well. It was a fun little gimmick. I broke my knee. Shoot broke my knee, and I had to do the wheelchair gimmick and all that stuff. So it was.
I remember that.
It was good times. Yeah.
Let's see. And you feuded with Tommy Dreamer while you were there, correct?
Yeah. Yep. My first gimmick matches were with New Jack.
Okay.
That was my first interaction with ECW was with New Jack. I was at ringside. I rolled in. Everybody thought I was going to be a baby face. Picked up the guitar and smashed it over New Jack's head, and we started our own little blood fest. So that was pretty cool.
So you enjoyed working with New Jack. That guy was always
great guy. Yeah, very good guy.
Yeah, the first time I saw him was he was part of a tag team in Smoky Mountain, and then next thing you know, he's like popped up in ECW, and I was very surprised actually. But he went on to great fame, I guess, in the singles competition for ECW.
Yeah,
had a huge cult following.
What an easy little gimmick! I mean, they played his music. He ran down and hit people with gimmicks. What a you could do that till you're 90.
Yeah, he did that quite a bit. Yeah, and then I guess once or twice he got in trouble with it. There was a mass transit incident.
There was a. Yeah, if he didn't like you, I wouldn't get in the ring with him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I remember I was at an ECW show, the White Plains, New York, and he was actually standing next to me. And I guess there was obviously ECW was known for fights breaking out in the crowds as well. I'm not sure if you ever recall that. And we had a riot on the streets in LA. That was quite a fun. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was always a blast going to shows. So that was there. Yeah, and I just remember him going like, "Yo, you guys got to get out of here. The cops are coming." So I remember that. So we literally the show was shut down at one point. I think it might have been a TV taping actually as well. So
it was there was fights in Philly on the streets in Philly. yeah, we had some pretty good fights with fans.
Yeah, that was a very unique setting.
Yeah,
Very well. Yeah.
many bar fights, many things where when you go out in a bar and you're around the boys and everybody starts drinking and they start getting jealous and all that stuff and wrestling's fake and geez, then
How did
it starts flying.
you ever respond to that? If anybody said that wrestling is fake, that's a term I never ever use. So
I mean, I was known to have a short fuse, especially with a
okay,
couple of Jack and Cokes in me. I'm not saying I never had a bar fight in my day, because I have.
right,
Um, the fake thing really never bothered me.
okay,
You know,
yeah.
where other boys would have been crazy, like you slapped your mama. You know what I mean?
Working with the Youngblood brothers, the Renegade Warriors in
Yeah,
WCW. Yeah. Do you actually was it Chris Youngblood that passed recently in the last
yeah.
two
I think it
years?
was Chris. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And he was a very nice guy. I remember
He-
communicating with him quite a
yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Awesome guy. It sucks talking about how many guys have passed away, so young. But it's the facts of life.
Yeah. I mean, we're all getting to that age where
Mm,
it's gonna happen. So
yeah.
let's see. I just want to make sure this is correct then. Here, did you spend some time did you make a trip down to Smoky Mountain
No,
at all? No?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so. I may have wrestled once
Yeah.
or twice. Never stayed there as a territory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just want to make sure that wasn't correct information. Let's see here. Let's see what else I got here. It says something about here. Now, this was also sent in by another person here. Was that
Okay.
maybe working with like Bobby and Jackie Fulton or the Rich Brothers? Mm,
No,
no.
never wrestled them.
All right. Did you ever have any interest in working Mexico or Japan?
I wrestled both.
Yeah.
Did
Were you-
two tours to Japan, and when I left WCW, I actually went to Mexico. I was supposed to be there for 3 months, and I made it a month. It was not a fun place.
Really?
It's not a fun place.
I've heard multiple stories about things like that.
I couldn't figure the 2 out of 3 fall gimmick. I just the hotels were the shits. Yeah, not a happy time.
Yeah, I've heard who was it? I think it was Phil Apollo actually spoke somewhat recently about the making sure you don't drink the water. And he
It happened to
that
me. I
mistake.
brushed my teeth with the damn water, and I was on the bowl, sitting on the bowl and throwing up, and it was coming out both ends. I mean, it was bad. Eddie Guerrero, he actually saved my life. He actually went to the pharmacy, because you can buy anything at the pharmacy in Mexico, and he got me stuff to settle me down, because I thought I was dying. I think I really wanted to die, so it was not fun. So do not drink the water or brush your teeth with the water, because that's all it took. It just a little bit of it was just crazy. Not
I can
fun.
imagine. Yeah. I'm showing that you worked. Did you work? Is this correct here? 01 or is it World One? 01.
0-1.
Yeah, 01. And
Yep.
you worked there with you teamed with Steve Carino actually.
Yes, Steve and T.W. Anderson. Us 3 went over at the same time, and I was more like a gimmick manager. I wrestled a couple matches there.
right.
It was fun. Japan is a trip. They treat you like gold.
That's what I've
treat
heard.
you really good.
Yeah. Of course. Let's see. Did you end up spending any time in Global at all? Returning down to Texas for Global at all? Or
I was in Global for a little while. I really don't remember it that much as like world class, but it was there. I was there for a little bit, not much.
Was there any impressions of like working there, maybe like returning there? I mean, because it was completely different kind
It
of.
was completely different different talent and all that. It was fun. Texas is a great place to work. I mean, you can literally hit that state for weeks and weeks and weeks and not go to the same town. That's a big place.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to go through my notes here. You also you wrestled in Worcester, Mass against Spike Dudley. Do you remember this? Taking a loss to Spike? No.
I don't remember that.
Might have been short lived because a lot of his matches were very
He's
short.
a cheating little bastard, that Spike Dudley.
Actually, I have 2 matches listed here. Singles matches with you. I guess you had lost by DQ at one of them in Revere, Mass. That's what I got here. So
I remember that town.
yeah,
That was like the dog track area, right? The dog track.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the dog track. Yeah, that was a good place. That was fun.
That was fun. Let's see. Yeah, we got Global. Did you ever encounter Joe Pedicino?
I know
while
Joe.
while he was there.
Yep.
And now he's obviously passed over the years, as we've mentioned several times. And about people.
Yeah.
What was your impressions about him? Because I thought he was like a very influential personality in the world of professional
His wife was
wrestling.
Bonnie, right?
Yeah, Bonnie Blackstone. Yep.
And
yep.
I'm pretty sure Bonnie ran the damn company.
Really?
Joe was just the front man.
Yeah.
But it was okay.
Yeah.
I heard that he was screwing over the boys at the end. I don't know.
He ended up leaving at some point, and
Something
somebody else took over another company, and that's when all the gimmicky stuff started to happen there. Like it all became very,
Right.
I guess, I don't want to say childish, but very cartoony.
Right.
You know, all the gimmicky stuff. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No, I've wrestled for them a couple times. It was okay.
Yeah. You reunited with Rip there.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
We had a couple shows there. We actually wrestled for the first time ever as a babyface.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I was never a babyface in my whole career.
Yeah.
In a couple matches.
Yeah.
It was.
What was
fun.
that like? Was it? Yeah,
it was fun. It was fun,
Yeah.
different. Yeah, fun, different.
About now, another guy working with Gary Young and Jeff Gaylord while you were there.
Jeff Gaylord was the only wrestler that actually shot on me. And you know what I mean when I say shit?
Yep.
I mean, he was trying to hurt me. And I punched him in the face, pretty much knocked him out, and went back. And Grizzly Smith goes, what the hell was that? I said, he was trying to hurt me out there. I said, we're not out here to hurt. I mean, we get hurt enough not trying to hurt somebody.
Right.
And he says, Grizzly Smith said, I'll take care of it. So that was my reaction with the Gaylord. But so yeah, that's the only one that actually tried to hurt me actually out there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's no, he's also gone as of just a few months ago. What are you up to these days?
Me, I am I drive a flatbed truck now.
Okay.
Monday through Friday, only in the state of Florida. Friggin' love it. It's like almost packing your bags and leaving out to go wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's great.
Doing some signings here and there.
Yeah.
Not many. I'm actually wrestling in a match in Canada in the first week in September.
Okay.
They actually talked me into actually coming up there and wrestle, so that should be fun.
Coming out of retirement.
Retirement and doing a ECW death match.
Oh geez.
Against one of their kids up there, so it should be fun.
Do you have the information for that or the dates exactly?
I don't know. He actually when I get it I'll pass it on to you.
Okay, great.
I know it's September 2nd. I don't know what the town I know Hannibal is the guy I'm wrestling.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about?
I know. I know him. Yep. Yeah.
That's who I'm supposed to be wrestling in an ECW death match. So that should be fun.
All right. Well, that sounds interesting. That's a Great North Wrestling, I believe, is
Great North
company.
Wrestling. Exactly.
So I'll probably see the information actually because I do follow him and his YouTube page. But I also see that you did work in 2021. You teamed up with Colby Carino, Steve's son.
I did, and I never knew what I was getting myself into until I got there that night because I really didn't follow that crazy gimmick matches that they have in. I go, what
It
did you
was.
get me into, dude?
I'm
So
looking
that
at
was
the
for his only
company.
match. You know, he said,
Yeah,
"Will you come and manage me?" I went, "Sure." You know, it was in Tampa, just across the state. Not a problem.
yeah.
And when I got there, I mean, well, it was about a week before. He goes, "They want you to wrestle." I said, "You take all the bumps, we'll be okay." You know, I figured, you know, a tag match.
Right.
Let the kid wrestle. I'll be on the apron. No, we wrestled. Oh my God, the husband and wife team, the
It's
Kirks,
yeah, Brandon Kirk and Casey Kirk.
and
I
Casey
have
Kirk.
here.
Yeah, they beat the
Yeah.
crap out of me,
I'm gonna have to.
bastards. She hit harder than he did.
It's ICW No Holds Barred,
Yeah,
Deathmatch Horror Story 2021. I do subscribe to the channel that they're on, so I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna go watch this. I'm gonna watch it
yeah.
now.
She beat the crap out of me.
Did you
It
bleed
was
at all?
no, it was. I didn't. I think I would have a better match now.
Yeah,
Than being like a virgin going there and going, oh my God, what the hell did I get myself into? I think I
yeah,
would have a funner match now. They'll probably never bring me back. I don't think he runs in Florida anymore. You
yeah. I
know,
don't
a lot of
remember
it's
where they run.
over up north.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought when I saw the name. I was like, I don't recall. I thought it
This
was a
was
northern.
literally in the back of a pawn store that looked like a damn junkyard.
That's
It
indie
was
wrestling
the
today.
craziest thing
Yeah,
in the world. But there was, you know, they sell it, they stream it and they sell
yep.
it, and apparently he does really good doing it. You know.
Yeah, they have that's a company that's got I guess quite a following, you know what I mean,
Right.
these days. So it's there's a lot of people that really like that company a
Yeah,
lot.
Danny's the owner, right? Danny.
Uh that I'm not sure of who the promoter is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to look that up, but yeah. Yeah.
I got to see Eddie's brother, Doug Gilbert. Doug Gilbert
Yep.
was there, so I got to see Doug. So that was great.
Yeah.
And of course, always seeing Kobe was always great. You know, I used to beat the crap out of him when he was 3. You know.
I wonder where
So,
he's I guess he recently returned to the NWA, I guess somewhat recently, because he
yeah,
I guess he had signed with NXT WWE and then
I think so. I
yeah.
think, yeah, I don't know the whole story. Haven't talked to Steve about that, so I have no idea.
Yeah. So you're pretty much not involved in professional wrestling these days outside of a couple signings, and obviously you have a match coming up. Yeah.
I do. I'm pretty excited. I to go back and do a little bit. I had somebody recently made a Russian assassin gimmick for me, so I'm planning on bringing back that gimmick in a couple matches. So that should be fun.
That should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep me posted on that.
I
We'll
will.
bring
I
it up
will.
here if you ever want to come back and talk about it.
Sure.
You know, especially after they happen, or
Maybe
to
as a
promote
Russian. Maybe as a Russian with no.
There you go. There you go. Jack, how can everybody find you?
I, I really just follow Instagram, Jack Victory 82. You know,
Okay.
I'm not a really big social. You know, if you reach out to me, I will. You know, I'll holler at you just like you did. You know,
Yeah.
basically, and yeah, I appreciate you spending a little time with me.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on today.
Anytime, and if we'll maybe do it again in the future because we got tons of stories, got tons of things to talk about.
I would love to sit there and talk some classic stories.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not inside the ring. I'll tell you the stories outside the ring. They're a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure that those are going to be some fun stories. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We had a good time. Wrestlers today are very boring.
That's a whole nother that I can do a whole episode on. I can do a whole episode on that. But yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Okay,
right.
my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.